I think probably is the features of paint shop and actually what you can do with it.
Yes, all the
You know
tools. I just think that I can see how I can relate what I do with painting onto the computer and how I can use the skills I've learnt doing watercolours. I can transfer to the computer.
It's been good. I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Dana's been really great.
Yeah,
Yes.
and sometimes you have to ask a few. You know, you have to ask a lot of questions.
Yes,
if you really want to learn.
That's right.
Yeah.
She's very patient.
Yeah.
Yes, very good. And I think too she's given us confidence because I've been able to go home and just work on my own too now and create things myself. So
yeah, it's been good.
Cut. Yes, I think maybe advertising, because the only way I found out about it was my daughter went to Facebook and she saw it on Facebook, and then she Facebooked me and said, "Hey Mum, this might be something you're interested in." So that's how I come to be here. Otherwise I would never even known it was here. The Old Dogs New Tricks is a good idea, and I think maybe if you go to the senior, they get the Senior Citizens Club down here and that sort of thing, and let people know that it's nothing difficult, that anyone can do it. And I think that. Yeah,
but even if you do make a mess, you're still learning something.
Yes, it's just fun. It was fun.
That's swallow your pride and just. Yeah, no, we've had a great time.
Yes, we have.
Really enjoyed it.
I look forward to coming.
I'll probably miss it.
Yeah, I'll miss it too.
Yes. What are we going to do?
I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I think younger people pick up things quicker and they've got a broad range of knowledge on all IT equipment, so I'm very happy with that.
I'm getting some programs to go on that computer that will help me with what I've learned here, and I will need Joel's email address. And yeah, again, I've learned a lot. It's repetition, going back and reading. And also, I think someone having patience.
Oh yeah, that's
and calmness.
Yes, yeah. With learning anything at all, if it's in a supportive environment, it's just so much better. What I'm taking away is I work full time, but I'm a hobby artist. So I'd like to get my photos the way they should be before I paint them, because I do some painting, but I do a lot of time as well. So it's probably more about that. But in saying that, I have enjoyed the experience of manipulating the photos. So it's something else I'd like to learn. It's not a form of art. So I love it that it's available on a Saturday. Because a lot of the times you can't get to things because they're on during the week, so the work is missed out. So I think that's great. It's a great venue. And perhaps a little bit more notice so that you don't tend to double book things.
I know that if I was doing one course, I'd rather it be from 11 to something. That way, or 10 to 12 would be a better one.
Yeah, I must admit 10 to 12 does sound a bit of time. It's like when you've worked all week and I travel 70 kilometres to get to work, 70 kilometres home, and by Saturday you get a little bit worn out.
Yeah, I agree with you on the later starts.
Yeah. Just a smidgen now, you know, we can just tweak that a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, Joel's been magnificent, very patient. But I wish they'd have a permanent, like a weekly running workshop that you could pay on a weekly basis, and then that would stretch you a bit more.
I mean, if you had 3 people that were rostered to do workshops and they just did one if you say every week, that way it doesn't have to be the same person.
I really enjoy doing this workshop because I'm already an artist and I work with acrylic and brushes, and to learn how to use aerosols was really exciting for me because I was able to add another medium to my artworks, which I've always been really curious and really interested in learning to use aerosols because I'm a big fan of graffiti and street art, and I've been really happy to participate in it because it's added to my artistic repertoire. Well, I know that I'm not a graffiti artist, so that's one thing that I've learned is that I have my own unique style, and I tried to do some specific graffiti looking stuff and it just didn't work because that was me trying to do something that it's not me, but I still totally admire what people do. I'm definitely going to go and invest in some aerosols because I like the depth that it gives to my artworks, to be able to do the backgrounds and then to paint over them with my brushes to do the finer details. I find really exciting.
Looks good too.
No, I think it was great for me personally. I found it really interesting, and every question that I asked was answered, and anything that I wanted to know was answered, and there was paints provided, and it's definitely added something to my future artworks.
Well, I've never been asked to do anything like this before, so at first, I didn't really know what I was going to do apart from just sort of show them what I do, and I guess teach them how to do graffiti. So I found it challenging in the fact that I have to make sure that I look like I'm a professional, and I just basically showed them whatever knowledge I have. So I found it new and quite fun.
Basically, just how to use the pen tool and make the shapes, and I guess at the end of the day, use those shapes. They're just simple shapes, but making, I guess, more complex shapes out of them to create characters, and well, I guess right here I've got a rocket ship, so yeah, it was good just figuring all that out and having him take me through it all and how to do it. Well, I guess part of Illustrator is there's a couple of the tools in Photoshop, and I'm a more photo-based editor. It'll be nice to know how to use the pen tool and use the shape tool properly in Photoshop, which this has taught me, and I don't directly know exactly how that's going to be useful in photo editing. I'm sure it will come in handy at times because I'll be able to just create some shapes that I want and might be able to use them as masks and things like that in Photoshop. He is a little bit younger than me. I actually found it quite interesting. I guess for me it was a little bit weird having someone, even though he's only a little bit younger than me, but far more accomplished than me at using Illustrator by a long shot, and and he's worked in the field in that sort of area. But it was just, I guess it was a bit strange taking instruction from him, but at the end of the day, it was good to get the instruction from him and learn. A little bit more, not so much organisation, just it didn't seem to be publicised in the public so much, and there didn't seem to be as many students here as probably should have been. So that's the only thing I can think of that they could improve on.
I haven't actually done any classes before. When I was going through uni and high school and stuff like that, I did find that once I'd finished what I'd already done, I'd go around the class and help people as well if they had questions, because most of the time there'd be 10 people asking the tutor questions and they wouldn't be able to get around to everyone. So I found that I had a natural tendency to want to help people. So it was sort of a natural thing for me to want to do this, and eventually I do want to, as I get older, I want to run classes in my own time, sort of the way that my art teacher that I did to learn how to draw better and stuff like that, he does it in his own time, and I like that aspect of bringing people up and teaching him things from someone that is experienced in the field. And yeah, I feel it's valuable to be able to pass knowledge on to people.
Okay, so Outdoors New Tricks, the idea behind it was that we work with young people in the region. Transit Lounge Caboolture is a service for young artists in the Moreton Bay region. But we often have a lot of older artists through the years who have said to us that they'd really like to get involved with Transit Lounge somehow. And we thought that an interesting way to do that could actually be, instead of having older people facilitating workshops for younger people, actually turning that around and getting younger facilitators such as Dana to facilitate, which gives the younger people an experience of teaching older artists who are completely different learners to their fellow peers who are the same age and are still used to being in school, and teaching older artists new technologies that they may not be very familiar with or comfortable with, but having it taught to them by someone who is approachable, who's a local, and who's also an artist. So that even though they're different ages and very different kind of stages in their careers, that generation bridge, that we're kind of bridging that generation gap that tends to happen in our region, where you have the older artists in their kind of artist clubs, and then you have the younger artists who are kind of in their own little network, and trying to get them involved and collaborating, and yeah, just encouraging them to meet each other and learn things from each other. So Dana, what was it like being a facilitator in Old Dogs New Tricks compared to what you normally do?
It was a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah?
Because when you teach younger kids, they tend to be okay with just sitting there and listening. And while older people are good at that too, they tend to be more open to chatting to each other. So I found that when I first started, all my participants were like, oh, hey, how are you? And it took a while to get them to get into it. And they're more reserved about things like Photoshop because it is such new technology. So I eventually kind of had to ram it into their heads that when you use Photoshop, you still use the same techniques you use when you use traditional mediums and stuff. A lot of it is the same. It's just you gotta, transfer the knowledge. So once the ladies had figured that out, I found that they were a lot more willing to learn, and they're a lot more happier with it, and they weren't as guarded. Whereas usually the kids, they're just like, okay, I'll just do that anyway, and they tend not to question as much. Kids don't question as much as what they do. And they don't really mingle, kids. They're all very shy.
They're a bit shy.
They're very shy, so they don't talk to me, they don't talk to anyone else. But whereas with older people, they talk to everyone, they talk to you. And I found that was really lovely, the fact that I actually got to have conversations with the ladies and I got to know them. And I got to really enjoy working with them because they talked to me, and we'd have little coffees and stuff. So that was really nice. Actually being able to have conversations with them instead of standing there going, silence! I'm the only one talking.
Yeah. I think with young kids as well, they're there to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Whereas the people who participated in All Dogs New Tricks were here to develop skills they already had.
Yeah.
And I think they're also here kind of for that social aspect as well.
Yeah.
Whereas young kids are kind of doing it because they're bored in the holidays.
Is that true?
And kids have, older people have so much more confidence than younger kids. I think we were talking about this before. Whereas that's why they're more reserved and they're more private, because they don't think their work is good enough to show people yet.
Yeah.
Whereas these older artists have been doing it for a long time, and so they're really keen to get feedback and get showing people their work, which is really good.
And the other fun thing is that even if, they might go, oh, I don't think this is that good, we'll be showing you. It's that's okay. I'm cool with that. I'm happy with it being shown, I'm happy with what I've done. That's all you need to do. You need to be happy with what you have done. So, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Interview complete. Sorry, we're pulling face. I'm just going to put that in there now.